what I want to do now is I want to show you a little bit about the button that will hit. So the way I have my game right now, I took apart the player buttons, and I want to now put them back together now that I have everything working. But what you'll notice is I have more code. So rather than trying to figure out the code, I'm going to throw that away, I'm going to throw that away, I'm going to throw that away, and I'm going to go, okay, well, I have code in my first one that I know works, so let's drag that over to player card 1 and to player card 2, and then I'm going to go in here, and if I click now, deal, you can see that it worked, but does anybody see a problem that just arose in what I did? Because when you copy and paste code, you have to be careful. Yeah? Very good. So a lot of this, most of this stuff is the same. When I deal a card to the player, it's the same deck. I'm still picking the same number, but it's not the CPU total that I want to add to anymore. Now it's the player total, and I don't have a player total, so I have to go to my variables, and I have to say PLY total, and hit OK. By the way, this is for all sprites because I want multiple sprites to be able to add to the player total. So, see, you drop in that coin. That's going to be on the show. So we can go back and we'll have a blooper reel. It'll be mainly Jacob. So I need to make that change. I got to change the player total anywhere I'm dealing with a player card. Okay, enough. See, I'm going to use this video to show the immaturity that I have to deal with every day. When you start to get code like I have here, also if you hit cleanup blocks, remember cleanup blocks will show you everything that you have, and you can get rid of whatever it is you don't need. So for me, I don't need any of that code. Keep your code clean because if you don't, it'll start to pile up and get confusing for you. But at this point, with any luck, I got a player total and a CPU total. I'll put the player total down here, CPU total up here, and if I run it, it says if I run it, 20? Yep. 10? Yep, looks good. Do it again. Uh-oh, 35. What happened? Why did I get 35? Matt? Right, so in CPU card 1, if you'll remember at the very, very start of the program, here, it says set CPU total to 0. So I've got to duplicate that line and set the player total to 0 as well. And now, 21, 19, yep, 12, 30, wait, what? 30, what? Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. I need it there too. But again, that's why you do it slowly and you test everything out so that you can make the changes as you go. Okay, so now, third time's the charm, right? So 9, 8, that looks good. Terrible hands. 13, 15. Yep. Yep. Okay, we're in business. Now we need a hit button. So, I'm going to put another sprite on, and just to make it simple for now, I'm just going to grab another button. No. No. Stop it. And I'm going to, I'll just put hit. Not purple. And don't forget, it's up to you to add some style to your game. That is something I want to see. So I'm just doing it quickly. Maybe you find a hit button online. Maybe you draw a hit button. Enough with the coins, guys, for real. Not funny. Okay, there's funny and there's not funny. And now we're not funny. So, hit. Somebody explain to me what I want to do. Like, what is my end goal? I don't want code. I just want to know what is it that I want to do. Yeah, no? Not yet? Yeah, go.
You want to add another card when you hit.
Yeah. Now, this is where we got to be a little careful, because I do want it to add another card if I hit, right? But what if I hit again? Yeah? Yeah. But, and what if I hit again? Yeah? So when I hit, I always add one card. But here's the problem, is that you're going to hit it once, and it's going to mean, okay, now I want to add a card here. And I'm going to hit it again, and it's going to now mean I want to add one here. And I'm going to hit it again, and it's going to mean I'm going to add one here. So I need, and I can't have 3 hit buttons, by the way. If you're going to say that's a good solution, it's not. So we need another way to make it so that when we hit the hit button multiple times, it has different meaning. Luca. Yeah. So we've already learned a little bit about a variable that's going to count clicks. Now before I get too far, don't name your sprites button 2. That will be marks off. So I'm going to call it hit. And I'm going to go code in the hit button. So the event is going to be when this sprite is clicked. You just told me I'm going to need a click counter, so I'm going to make a variable. Do you think this variable is going to be for this sprite only? Or is it going to be for the whole program, meaning for any sprite in the program? I'd be curious on thoughts, because we never really have talked about this one too much. Is that? For this one only? You think it's going to be for the whole thing? Okay, so let's have a little fight here. Why? Zach, tell me why you think it's going to be for this sprite only.
Well, because it's an individual card that you want to click over individually, not have multiple click over at a time.
Okay.
So therefore, you would have an individual code for each card that has a different variable.
Okay.
So when it goes and first time actually first variable and not the other 2.
Okay. Yeah. Thinks it should be for all sprites because you can't make cards visible on the one sprite. Well,
I think it'd be for all sprites so that they all know what hit counter is equal to. They can use it if hit counter equals to red.
okay. Just a couple more. Take it one more.
Basically exactly what Will said, because each card individually has to know what the counter is to tell it where to go.
Okay. How do you think we're going to control that? So let's say we click, everyone try to picture this in your head. You're playing Blanca, and you click hit, and the third card appears, right? So how do we link those two? How do we get from we click on the hit counter and yet another sprite appears on the screen? Yeah, what she said. What she said. That's exactly what I picked up. Broadcast a message. Right? We're going to broadcast a message. But the thing is, the message is going to be different depending on the value of the click counter. So, I would argue that no one else really needs to know the value of the click counter except for the hit button. And I will proceed like this, and I might wind up being wrong, but let's just go with it. Yeah?
I think an easier way is that you have it in an if, and if hit counter equals 1, so make it pick a card and go to that certain spot.
Okay.
That way you don't have to have a broadcast, you don't have to have multiple messages. It's just one hit counter.
Okay. Maybe there is an easier way. I'm going to go with this way just because I want to teach this way anyway. But I'll take a look at what you got there later. So what I know is that I'm going to need 3 more cards. So I click on player card 1, and I duplicate, and I duplicate, and I duplicate. And the nice thing about going player card 1, 2 is, look, it automatically goes, hey, 3, 4, and 5. Scratch is smart enough to name them right for me which is nice. And then I'm going to go to player card 3, and I'm going to position it there. And then I'm going to player card 4. Oh, sorry, that was 4. Then I'm going to go to 3, put it there, 4, put it there, and 5, put it there. Okay, the way it behaves right now is like this. How can I stop that without getting rid of all of my code? Spencer? Right. So we don't want to delete stuff, but it's just that the third card is going to have a different trigger. It's not going to be triggered by when I receive deal. It's going to be something different, which we're not quite there yet, but we're close. So now I'm going to take all of these apart for now, just to make sure that it's still working the way I want, because baby steps are important. So we start over. Okay, perfect. That's where we want to be. Now, I go to hit, and I say, when this sprite is clicked, we are going to change the value. Oh, did I not actually make it? I thought I made it. We are going to change the value of the hit counter, not click counter, but the hit counter, by 1. And now we are going to have some rules. If it turns out that the hit counter is equal to 1, what are we going to do in that case? In normal English, I don't need code. If we've clicked on hit once, yep. Show the third player card. So I am going to, as Ava said, broadcast a message. A good name for the message might be show P3. And once I have that, I can duplicate like so, and I can make 2 more messages, one called show P5, one called show P4, and one called show P5. Is there anything else that you can see there that I need to add to this code? Yeah? Thank you. Okay. Yep. Pardon? No? See? 17, 13. I think we're good. Let me keep going. And if you guys see something wrong, let me know. So now I've got everything pretty much where I need it to be. If I click on hit counter is going to go up by 1. So this should be true. So we should broadcast this. So now if I go back into play card 3 and say, when I receive show P3, do all of this stuff. And while I'm at it, I can do the other ones too. And if I run it now, so I'll deal, and now hit, I should see one there. And you can see that it went to 29, which is good. I hit again. It worked again. And I hit again. And it worked again. So basically, you have now learned how to program one button to send 3 different messages based on the value of a variable. And many of you look very sad or bored. I can't figure out which. And that's now for the record. It's on record that you guys looked bored. For the record, the class looked very bored. Spencer, question? Okay? You can go ahead and try to explain it if you like.
Oh, okay. So instead of having three different broadcasts, in each of the player cards, you just do a hit counter, and then only one broadcast is still over three. Instead of having three different broadcasts.
Okay. So when you're going to make a statement like my way was easier, first of all, you should probably have a little more tact because it sounded a little bit arrogant the way you said it. And secondly, you have to define easier. So I would argue that my way is probably not going to work any better than your way. The same way that your way is probably not going to work any better than my way, so who cares? And secondly, what I would say is that my way, I hope, was fairly easy to understand. And I'm not saying that yours isn't, but I'm just saying that when I teach this stuff, it's not just about, here's code that will work. It's about here's code that will hopefully get the students to understand what a variable can be used for, how we can increase it, and so forth and so on. So if your way is easier in the way you said it, that's great. But there are lots of different ways to do this stuff. Okay, so if you think you have a different way that works, I would like to see it. But try to get out of the habit of saying my way's better, my way's easier. We're all just doing the same program, and I'm pretty sure that when you guys go and play Minecraft, you're not looking at the code behind it going, oh, this is way better than the other one. As long as they work the same way, we don't care that much, within reason. But anyway, Spencer, I would love to see what you've done. Okay, I'll stop there because that's enough. And yeah, try to get your hit button working.